Hey yo, and welcome back to The Letter! We have Miss Hannah Wright and Zachary Steele. Together in the mansion, he is taking photos of the Ermagerd mansion, or the Wrights mansion now, for whatever luxury living magazine. And Miss Hannah has asked if this is his full-time job, and we've also experienced some spooky moments in the last episode. And I think they kind of dig each other. And I kind of dig that they dig each other. I wonder if we can get Luke and Hannah to split up. Like, I wonder if that's like a route we can take. And I'm kind of all for that, because Luke's an asshole. Alright, let's keep going. See if any more spooky stuff happens. So this is a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask, because I'm so interested in this large man. I regret doing so as I see his shoulders slump and his easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films, documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right?
Yeah.
I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Blue Fonzie lehir la paz sombre des noirs Britannicus. Dark blue, the darkest hour of the Black British. He speaks with passion of one who has gone through the very matter he's concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker if only he wasn't so engrossed. If I wasn't so engrossed in listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunities and higher chances for being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens. All because of the color of their skin. It's all positively riveting. And sad. It comes to a point wherein he loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all.
I like that too. Like, people that have like a great passion for something. It's like, I don't know. It makes me happy to see someone like so passionate about something.
You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
Oh, you're so dense. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth and lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared, were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I were any lesser? No, he would not.
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. but a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards at this, and the stolen item is not a pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that.
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl and dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood comes over us, and there's a moment where neither of us are sure of how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before. I wonder when we get to play as Zach, we'll get to replay this moment, and I want to see what, his perspective is on everything.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant. And just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such crass words. But he recovers quickly after snapping a few shots. He grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French.
She is so into him.
You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
No, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It's been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort of who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me a strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agree to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. I went a little Irish there. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind. But he's a big boy, he should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew more and more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean, as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? No, because I also enjoy those things. Perhaps this went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. Well, if you have to keep asking yourself that, at least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh. I don't think Zachary would appreciate it. He's a very nice dude. So we'll probably have to stop.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact that the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right? I mean, that's what your husband tells you, that it's harmless, but he shouldn't be doing it.
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
Aww.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Oh, your little virgin boy.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
I can't help it. I really, really can't help it. And I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I fail to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away.
They're so cute.
Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course. I'll even deliver them personally.
'Cause you like her. You wanna date her, but you're a gentleman.
Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, at the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his eyebrows, he has hardly only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now.
I like the butler. I hope he doesn't get hurt.
As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hana. And you too, Hansy.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
Honey. He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I have ever seen. I linger, looking out for him as his relatively tiny bicycle backpack safely secured in the basket in the front and suitcase hooked to the back. I watched as he went down the path back to Anslem village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark, and for a moment I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that's clearly not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there is a distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me, and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman!
There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
That's strong stuff.
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with a hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hana, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Oh, fuck you.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that.
Like you did anything.
You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
Nothing. I feel like we'll probably have to lie, because there's probably gonna be betrayals when everyone gets together at some point. This
I
one.
was just tending to the garden, sweetie.
You were?
That was easy. For a moment, he looks skeptical. I can tell by the gleam in his eyes, and the way he sits up in attention. He thinks I'm lying. But I see no point in bringing up Zachary and aggravating him. I did tend to the gardens for a bit, so it's not a complete lie. Just a little white lie. Besides, I know just how to please him. Sauntering over and circling around him, I place my fingers on his shoulders. Ew. That's like in my ear. He lets out a little groan before melting like butter as I massage his shoulders.
I had to make sure they didn't ruin your favorite daffodils.
Oh, that is wonderful.
I'm not sure if he means the massage or the flowers, but I'll take it. This is better than a fight.
So, absinthe.
Just one glass, Loosh.
I suppose I can let this one go. A bit too late anyway, you've already drank half the thing. But remember your doctor's orders.
Yes, I'll try to drink less.
Try.
Hey, I'm only human.
An asshole of a human.
Do you want one?
No, thank you.
Supper is spent in silence without nothing but an occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served. Well, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. There's a lot of food pictures in this game. A platter of native oysters for starters, and a tranche of turbot with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. That sounds really fancy, and I'm fine with some nuggies and mac and cheese. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There's no need for tears, however, I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope will be a long, happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke, and for our future children, fills me with renewed vigor. I hope you do not have children with that man, and I hope you have mixed babies with Zachary. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far and muffled. Yet, at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it, as if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen. I feel like a choice is coming. And into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I am curious and concerned, but there is no way I'm going down into that dark and human underground. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholly benevolent. So I will... I want to know what happens if you open it, but I feel like that'll kill her. I feel like the right thing to do is to not go in there, because, you know, every single horror thing, they do the stupid choice and then they die. So I think we're not supposed to open it. but my finger's on the Z button. I knock 3 times, waiting for any sort of reply. Yields me to no result, and I've already touched the floor hatch too many times than I'd like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I've learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats. Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You, in the cellar, do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we? That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
Still nothing.
You can have a good cry, just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
With how long I'm standing here, however, I'm starting to think myself a fool. I do not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as the wailing took an eerie turn. The thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I try one more time.
Now you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me? Why, Iota?
I freeze as hot as a hand claps down on my shoulder. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel, unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest, but the touch is gone as quickly as it seized me. It's only Johannes I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least I'd like to interpret as concern, given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been concern as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand at my forehead before his worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman? Are you feeling well, madam?
In the cellar. Can't you hear her?
Madam, Hannah, no one is down there.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys. Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief, but when I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the hatch for a good measure to prove his words to be true, too. The thing won't budge unless I had a key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam. You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience.
Okay.
But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
Thank you. There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who I am to question someone who used to be a doctor. You went from doctor to butler? Are you like a personal doctor? I am just tired, that's it. Long day of moving, and the interview dealing with Luke has all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Just some sleep.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johannes. Good night, house.
It's just fatigue. Okay, so I'm very curious of what happens if you open the hatch, and I'm almost out of time. So we're gonna end the actual canonical timeline that we're following. I don't know if it's canonical or not, but this is our canon. And we're just gonna load that save real quick. And we're gonna open it and see what happens, because I am curious. I may not be going down, but there's no point in talking through closed doors. Or hatches in this case. The thing refuses to budge at first until there's a soft click and it easily swings free. Okay, I'm ready for a jump scare. I lift up the hatch and look down into the cellar. A sense of uneasiness washes over me. It's just like the dream. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. I can hear her whispering. Is there something in there? Like, I can't see. Okay. Like, I'm tensing and bracing because I feel like something's gonna pop out. Calling for me. She wants me. Needs me. It's the dream again. She wants to drown me, pull me down, and suffocate me in her embrace until I sink to the bottom. A deep abyss awaits, inviting me, yet foreboding. She's calling to me from in there, isn't she? And I do want to help, I do. But the shadow threatens to creep out, and a feeling of apprehension keeps me in place. Already it paints the room in a darker light. This is like the dream all over again. There's a hook in my stomach as well. But this time, it doesn't pull me back. Instead, it pulls me forward. There is a lurching sensation, and the feeling that follows after is hard to explain. It feels like I'm watching myself from the sidelines, a specter to my actions or lack thereof. I will myself to snap out of this detached feeling, to move, to do anything except stare at myself. And for a moment, I see the look of fear in my own face. I'm back in my body, but the hook in my stomach is no longer the only one. There are hooks everywhere, tearing and pulling at my skin, flesh, and bones. They pull at me in every direction, and it hurts. It hurts so much, but I just can't bring myself to scream out.
Help me.
Oh, why? Why? I don't know how to type. I wake up from a deep slumber. Oh, I'm curious of both timelines now. I want to know. Can you show me? Okay. Oof, oof, oof. I'm surprised I was able to do that because I am not a good typer. Okay, so that was both of those options. Okay, so we have if we don't open and if we do open. And I feel like if we go down this path, we're probably gonna die eventually. And if we go down this path, I want her and Zach to be together, kinda. Because, like, I don't know. Luke sucks. But, ooh, I'm invested. But anyway, I am definitely out of time now. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I post. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.